Every woman will have their one good friend they swear reminds them of their mother, as if she is a younger, fresher version of her, untouched by kids, a husband, and a thankless job. For me, Yali was my mother before my father wrecked our lives. Thus, I should not have been shocked when she married a man like my dad. Dash was the nicest guy in a party room, but the meanest one in their apartment. He knew how to turn up looking thoughtful and noble as a husband, but Yali's suicide attempts, weight gain, and 3 a.m. phone calls of her crying for hours with me, just listening to her weep, had totally asserted nice guy Dash was his mask. For Dash, nice was the appearance of kindness, which is why he was things like a sneakerhead, a fantastic karaoke singer, and enjoyed extreme sports and travel. He looks like a harmless, nice man that happened to humiliate and verbally assault his wife so badly she withdrew from everyone in her world and immersed herself in a cave. For a long time, I was the final frontier in Yali's friendships. Out of the whole group, I was the only one she spoke to because I rarely commented, forgave her if she yelled at me for doing so, and just listened. I loved Yali with all my heart, and her friendship oddly sparked my journey in seeing with my mother as a woman. I remember the day Yali told me her and Dash had married. We met for brunch at Russ and Daughters. She ordered her lox with cheese and tepidly grinned, "I got married a month ago." I was shocked. I had met Dash a few times at their favorite coffee shop where he would go to study, but nothing about their relationship screamed marriage potential, in part because he felt boring. Yali was guilty of a bad habit my mother had taught me, aggrandizing everyone. If you told Yali you went on a hot air balloon trip, by the time she retold it, you actually went to a hot air balloon school, got certified, and are giving classes. Yet there was something undeniably plain to Dash, and an overeagerness from Yali, then 38, to have her eggs sperminated over the usual sunny side up. Yep, his sister called me and said he was going to be deported soon, so she might have to marry him off. And I said, "Whoa, we're dating." She smiled nervously as if her smile covered up that the situation had me nervous. We had spent half of our friendship development watching 90 Day Fiance and laughing at the crazy foolery to which now she was starring in her own season. These were the moments when Yali really felt like my mom, telling me something that was bound to break her heart and relying on my love to be silent and supportive. Both would kill me if I tried to stop them from killing themselves, and 7 years later, amidst a putrid divorce, Yali really did feel dead. "You watching The Other Way?" she asked me, suddenly near her apartment. "You know it. I haven't watched the last episode, so. Want to come in and watch it?" She smiled. Within minutes, we were in her apartment, eating edibles, putting on TLC, and remarking on commercial breaks how we swore we were going to start a podcast. It felt good. It felt like I was getting my friend back. But I did notice I was getting a quieter version of her. She commented and giggled less during the 90 Day Fiancé episode, as she saw mismatched couples fall into the haphazards of loving someone that might be using you. She no longer had the confidence of someone who understood they would never let themselves get there. All right, let's heal. Let's discuss. So, I've always loved 90 Day Fiancé. I'm sure it's on its 52nd season, 34th spinoff. But Yali is, out of all my friends, I always say the one that most reminds me of my mother. Incredibly smart and incredibly thoughtful and generous to everyone except herself. And if she trusts you, probably you. Like, just somebody who, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not healthy. I want to be good to the people that are good to me. I just have made the mistake of thinking I have to be good to people and then they'll be good to me. Like, I was raised to earn love. And there are people who just give it. There are people that don't deserve it. And you have to see that and choose that and observe that and be patient in observing that. And I don't really do that. I kind of just give my love, give my love, give my love, hope you'll give it back, give you time to see if you'll give it back, and then resent you when I realize that you're actually just an asshole. And I think that's been my traumatic, dumb response to my parents who kind of moved according to whether they liked somebody or really wanted to be liked by people. All right, let's heal, let's discuss. So Yali always pops up in my daddy recovery episodes as one of my friends that really reminds me of my mother. My mother was super smart, super generous to everyone except herself and me. And my relationship with Yali could sometimes emulate that. I was, after she got married, she really, the years, by the end of her marriage, she had lost everybody. She was just completely isolated. And I was like one of the only people that had remained in her life because she got dark, and not just negative, dark cloud, like really, really mean. And it reminded me of my mother was somebody that wanted to look good and be liked by everyone. And the minute the door locked in our home, that's when she became volcanic and just vented and dumped. And I was all she had. And for the most part, she couldn't really do that to my grandmother because my grandmother would smack her. And my grandmother was, she played with me, watched novelas. Uh, it was a weird dynamic because my grandmother could be very combustive. And when my mother would have these emotional tirades, I think she understood she couldn't do that with my grandmother. My grandmother would out volcano her. And in my family, your kids were allowed to be your emotional punching bags. That's why you kind of had them. And I became Yali's emotional punching bag. And whether or not I should have been, I don't know. But I have always loved her. Have always liked her. And before she got married, she was really, really cool. I mean, we would go to all these music festivals. She was fun and smart and sparkly. And I knew her a few years before she got married. And when she became, I want to say 34, 35, that's when it, like suddenly the womb clock was ticking, the walk, I should call it. And she was like, oh my God, I got to get married. I got to get married. And it not, it's almost like you just announced to the universe, I got to get married. And you think tomorrow the husband shows. So when she became 38, that's when she got really, really nervous. And I think subconsciously just said, you got to take what you get, and entered Dash. And Dash was just, he always reminds me of that song, the Into the Woods. You're so nice. You're not good. You're not bad. You're just nice. He always felt like that, like just a nice guy. Very, a good host of a party. But at the end of the day, everybody had to leave the house. That kind. No, it never really let anybody in, at least of Yali's world, right? Because they divorced, and he's doing great, I think, or he did great. And when the day Yali told me, she invited me to brunch, and she goes, I got married. I'm like, oh wow. I was shocked. I wasn't necessarily disappointed. I was more so because she didn't invite anybody. They went to the courthouse, got married, and that was it. And I was a little like, I was shocked because yes, they had dated for a few months, but he didn't feel like her one to me. He didn't feel like her one to me. And I know she was desperate to get married, but I didn't think she was that desperate to get married to anyone. Even, and in perspective, I was like, yeah, she was, because she really wanted to be a mother. And when they were dating, I didn't get the sense that she was necessarily in love with him. Because when Yali's excited about something or someone, you would think they're going to throw a parade. And it just felt very casual, like, let's see where it goes. And she started to describe to me what his sister had said of, oh, he needs to get married now, otherwise he'll get deported. And I thought, this is a 90-day fiance scenario. We have spent half of our friendship making fun of this show that clearly you would be in the next season on. And Yali and my mother have this tendency of kind of saying the most dramatic, craziest things and then acting like they never did. So once she told me about the sister calling her to say he's going to get deported, he has to get married now, I was shocked, and I didn't know how to. I didn't want to take her joy at being married. And at the end of the day, what was done was done. So I kind of just smiled and ate my sunny side eggs.